everyone, this is Showtime 112. Once again we are in the Operation Desert Storm, and this time flying the fighter that has the credit for almost all the kills of the campaign. It's the early morning of January 17, 1991, which means these are the very first hours of the operation. Cruise missiles have been launched by B-52s and by US Navy warships. US Army Apache helicopters attacked a key radar installation and thus made a hole in the Iraqi integrated air defense system. And now the first strike packages are about to cross into Iraq and attack their targets. But ahead of them, F-15Cs will fly fighter sweep missions and engage any Iraqi fighters which choose to intercept them. We're joining Citgo flights of the 58th Tactical Fighter Squadron. Flight leader is Captain Robert Cheese Graeter. The area of responsibility will be western Iraq between H3 and Mudaisa airfields. And expected threat might come in the form of MiG-29s or Mirage F1s, the most advanced fighters available to the Iraqis. The Citgo flight has now arrived to their area of responsibility. Initially they detected some MiG-29s about 85 miles away from them, and they began to close the distance, but then AWACS started calling some more bandits, which turned out to be 3 Mirages taking off from Mudaisa airfield. Captain Graeter somehow missed the AWACS call on them being bandits. However, he was still able to identify them using his onboard systems, especially the non-cooperative target recognition system. He engaged the lead Mirage with the Sparrow missile. The Sparrow missile hit the lead Mirage, and that was the first credited kill for Captain Graeter. But what happened then is a bit controversial. You may have watched History Channel's Dogfights, where in the episode Dogfights of Desert Storm, a crew of an American F-111 electronic warfare airplane describes in a lot of detail how they were chased by an Iraqi Mirage F1, which appears to be the second Mirage of this group. It even launched a missile at them, which they were able to evade by maneuvering. But then the pilot of the Mirage, which was also locked by the Citgo flight, appears to have suffered from spatial desorientation and hit the desert floor. This Mirage was also attributed to Captain Graeter as a maneuvering kill. However, Steve Davies, in his book F-15C Units in Combat, claims that Captain Graeter said in interview that there were no EF-111s in the area. So it's a bit hard to say what happened exactly. The third Mirage decided not to engage the Eagles, but instead to flee back to the base. Captain Graeter was able to lock him up and started to chase him, but before he could enter missile range, he decided to abandon the chase for a couple of reasons. For one thing, he was reluctant to use afterburner in nighttime because he could be easily spotted. And apart from that, he was approaching the base, which was defended by a Roland surface-to-air missile, and he was starting to get warnings. So he turned away, and Mirage pilot was able to get away. However, Captain Graeter was still credited with 2 Mirage kills, which is definitely a great success. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to press the like button, that's very important for the channel. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and if you're able to, you can support the channel on Patreon, that would be very helpful. Feel free to comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and keep watching Showtime 112.